name is Tim. I'm joined with Connor.
Hi.
Sam.
Hi.
Sam is our other roommate, who's not usually in the podcast, and then Josh, of course.
Hello.
All right, well, let's get into it. So first, we're going to be talking about some trailers. The first one we just watched was Snow White. What did you guys think about that? What are your first impressions?
I'm not a big fan of the original Snow White. I think it's nice that they're doing the dwarves still. And it's kind of hard to believe that Gal Gadot is, the evil witch. She's so pretty, you know?
I know,
I wonder what she's going to look like ugly. They didn't show that in the trailer, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
They did.
Yeah, she was actually pretty bad, right? It's like
was
CG,
looking,
though,
yeah.
I think. But
I must have missed that.
I think she's actually a better choice than I thought she was going to be. Because if you watch the original cartoon, she kind of looks like Gal Gadot when she's a queen, at least, in my opinion.
A little.
I don't like Rachel Zegler,
I don't either.
so that's my problem with it.
I don't either, actually.
That's why I don't know if I want to see this movie.
Magnificent.
She does
I don't think that, I would say that Disney's live-action movies, versions of their animated movies, some of them are okay, but none of them are really great. So I don't know if this is necessary. I see why they're doing it. They're, whatever. And I know we're going to talk about Lilo and Stitch in a little bit, which is another one. And even How to Train Your Dragon, which is another one. And How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch look good. And I'm not saying this one won't be good, because I feel like it's going to be more like Beauty and the Beast, though. Because Beauty and the Beast was, good, but it wasn't, outstanding. But it was, good, It wasn't, something that I was like, this is something that's wow,
Mm-hmm. With this one though, what kind of gets me is that we watched it just now, and the Seven Dwarfs look very CGI. I don't know if it's because it's not done completely yet, and they just put it out in the trailer, or if they're actually going to look that bad. But Disney's been putting out some, including Lilo and Stitch, some pretty good CGI, for main characters. And the Seven Dwarfs, they look like they got put on a CG.
I know there was some issue with the fact that it was dwarves.
Yeah.
For the animated movie recently, so I'm wondering if they did the CGI and maybe made it a little bit bad to kind of make it known that it's like animation. Right. Because I don't think they're calling them dwarves in this movie. I think they're calling them something else.
Why is that like?
I know it was.
I know. Disney had.
Is it like a cancel culture?
I think it was like a cancel culture type of thing where like Disney, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Disney kind of got. It's kind of dumb in my opinion.
That makes no sense because like Lord of the Rings has dwarves and everyone loves them.
I know, and that's the issue. Is
no, you try to cancel Lord of the Rings, everyone will come.
But Disney is notorious for backing down on certain things. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep their reputation clean, and they're basically just they'll buy into anything. Yeah.
So. But I think that's why this. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this movie is gonna be pretty decent in the box office, just because there's so many like Disney adults who love Disney and would love to watch, even if it's a terrible Disney movie, they would probably still watch it.
Well, I think that's
10 times over.
Well,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like, is the Snow White movie gonna be a great movie? No, but because it's a Disney adaptation of an animation movie that everyone loves so much.
There's also a lot of drama around the production because it was Rachel, so I think that's gonna maybe draw some attention.
I mean, look at the first big live action one they did in the recent past 5 years, Lord of the Rings, Lion King. Yeah. And, a lot of people didn't like Lion King, but it ended up being, I think, the best-selling Disney movie today. Still.
The live action
in box office,
that's the first one they did.
That's the one, yes,
yeah, the first
with
one.
I know.
They're coming out with the prequel now.
But that's the first live action one that Disney did, right?
Yeah. Well, in recent years, I mean that kind of part of this new wave of just making all of their classics.
No, the last one would have been Ariel, I think. The
last
you're
one was
right.
Ariel.
Yeah,
But
the last one
the
was
first one,
the Little Mermaid.
Where they're doing CGI characters. Stuff like that was
Lion King. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested, but not that interested.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of movies that should just be left as originals, and I feel like there's a lot of Disney movies where I mean, I don't think Snow White will be bad, but I think it's just one of those movies where it's like it should just be left alone as a classic Disney movie and just
100%.
leave
Well,
it be.
speaking of that, How to Train Your Dragon looks really good, but I can't imagine that they're going to do the whole trilogy in live action. What's the point, you know?
Yeah, but that's the point of a lot of these.
Well, I guess it would kind of be like people love Game of Thrones.
I think it's just to see it in a live action adaptation.
Yeah, I guess.
And with How to Train Your Dragon specifically, I mean, you even have Gerard Butler playing back as the same character. You know, I think they're trying to literally do a live action version.
And I get it, but it just seems like, remember in Love Actually where he re-records his song as a Christmas song?
Yeah.
And then he's like, wow, this sucks. You know, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I feel like that's what they're doing. They're like re-recording their old songs.
Yeah.
And it's just like remastered versions. I get it. Whatever, man, you know?
Yeah,
but like, why do we need two of the exact same trilogy? You know? Because I think the same director who did the How to Train Your Dragon animated movies is doing the live action.
I think it's completely the same team. Yeah.
Which is like, why are you going back and
why
are you going back and singing the
yeah.
same song again?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like I feel like also a lot of people don't understand, or like I guess these people who are making these movies, they know they made a lot of money off these movies, so they're like, oh, we'll just basically make it again.
Yeah, and we'll make money.
But like they just don't want to make a new movie when they easily could. You made a fantastic first movie, trilogy of it. They just don't want to make. I mean, I'm sure they've made other ones. I don't know who made it, but
Disney's a brand above a production company.
Yeah, but like was this like a?
They know what's gonna make.
I wouldn't even say it's a brand; it's a
Yeah.
company.
It's a company.
Yeah. But it just sucks because like it's great to see all these things, but like like when Soul came out, I loved Soul because it was a new Disney movie.
Yeah.
You know. But it's like I feel like everything is now. It's just like I'm not a huge Disney princess person, so I don't really want to go see Snow White. But if it was like Soul was good and it was brand new,
right?
You know.
And the animation in How to Train Your Dragon is really good. It's just a teaser, but it's really good, you know. And then there's Lilo and Stitch, and Lilo and Stitch looks pretty good too. For the animation, Stitch looks great. I think
Stitch looks really good.
Yeah, it was like a 30-second trailer. But you saw Stitch whole entire time, and he looks good.
It wasn't. It was like a teaser. It was because the only thing about it was him crushing sandcastles, which is almost a recreation of a scene from the movie, but instead of it being sandcastles, it was in the movie. It was something like Legos or something like that.
See, I don't want to backtrack everything I just said with the other ones, but Lilo and Stitch, even though I know it's probably going to be a very similar movie to the original one, I'm actually excited to watch Lilo and Stitch. That one seems fun to me.
Yeah.
But I have no interest in watching any of the Disney princess ones.
Yeah.
Like Snow White or Beauty and the Beast. But I think that Lilo and Stitch will be fun.
They did Cinderella too.
They did Cinderella.
You know, I feel like I am backtracking as well, but I think like Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, maybe it's because like the adaptation of it is like animals and they're just so cute that when you make it, even though it's still CGI, even though you make it CGI, it's still so cute. You're just like, oh, like Toothless is adorable.
I think both those
Maybe
are
that's
really cool
just
too because
why
they're
I
action
think
movies.
they're cute.
Where Snow White's not really necessarily an action movie. How to Train Your Dragon is all about dragons and Vikings, and then
It'll be cool to see. It'll be cool to see the dragon, though, in Snow White. You know, there's elements of Snow White.
Yeah,
that'll
no,
be cool.
I'm not saying it would be a terrible movie. I'm just,
But the dragon's not in Snow White.
Yeah.
No, that's Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, that is Sleeping Beauty. That's
We
right.
did see that already.
Well, we didn't see that. We saw Maleficent. It's not the same.
Yeah, I guess not.
Maleficent was good.
Well, either way, I'm interested enough to probably see them. Maybe not in theaters, but maybe when they come to streaming. You know.
Yeah, I'm excited for them. Both two.
I think all in all, they can justify anything they want by saying, you know, we're just trying to bring old IPs to a new generation with live action. You know,
I mean, you still want the story alive of like Snow White and all that. So to make a new adaptation for a new generation makes sense.
Yeah.
But I just think there could be better
We'll go with it.
things. But bravo.
And then there's the Mary
The
trailer.
Mary trailer that we watched. That one looks really fun too. You know,
is that about Mary Magdalene?
You know what? I don't know because I do know that Anthony Hopkins is playing King Herod, which takes place around the same time that Mary Magdalene would be alive. And so either it's Mary Magdalene or Mary Jesus' mother.
That's what I thought it was.
Two main protagonists.
I mean, there's only two Marys.
Right.
That's the Mary I thought it was.
Especially
Mary's mother,
Mary.
Jesus' mother?
Yeah.
It could be. Well, if he's Herod, that would be Jesus' mother.
Right.
If Anthony Hopkins is Herod, it's not about Mary Magdalene if it's Herod.
Yeah.
Because
Mary Magdalene would be
Herod. I think Herod.
I don't even know who Mary Magdalene is.
You know, fun fact: Herod, I believe, is the richest human in all of history.
Really?
Yeah.
Mary Magdalene?
No, Herod. Herod, who put out the kill the firstborns of male firstborns, and that's why
Herod is the king who, when Joseph and Mary were gonna have Jesus, he was like, kill everybody, like Josh was saying.
Yeah.
He was the king that kind of like they were on the run from, because he was like, oh, a Messiah is coming.
He knew he knew the prophecy was coming. He's the king, but from what I remember learning, I think he was by like. Even with conversion, I think he was the richest human to ever live.
That's wild.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's like Herod the Third.
Richer than Jeff Bezos?
I think so. Well, Elon even. I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's still true, but I remember in high school I learned that.
That sounds familiar to me too.
Something I learned.
But either way, these movies that are kind of not necessarily religious movies, but they have to take place in like setting with religious aspects. They end up being a lot better than a lot of the times than I expect them to be. So
I agree.
So I'm excited for this one.
I am too. I think I'm excited for it too. And this is actually Anthony Hopkins' second religious movie. I don't know if he's religious or not, but he was also.
I think he's got to be Catholic. That amount of movies.
Yeah, he's got to be Catholic, but he was also in Noah. He plays Noah's dad.
He does. He plays Jethro, right? What's his name?
No, I don't know his name. Not Jethro. But yeah, I'm excited.
He's also the Pope, right?
And he plays the Pope in a movie as well. But when does that one come out? That comes out on Netflix. Do we know when that comes out?
Just at Christmas.
Yeah,
on Christmas?
Yeah, it's literally Christmas. It would make. That's why I thought it was about Jesus' mother, because it came out on Christmas.
That makes a lot of sense. So they'll probably it would probably end with Jesus' birth and the wise men tracking the star, bringing frankincense and myrrh.
That's gonna be a series.
Maybe.
I
mean, even the Bible. I like the show. I like the Bible, the show, the history. Or the Chosen.
The Chosen, the new one that came out.
Chosen's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever watched The Chosen, but it's really good. I think it's like 4 seasons now too.
Is it on Netflix?
I think it is on Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix. But that one actually follows Jesus through the Gospels.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's actually really.
It's like critically acclaimed.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. All right. Well, that being said, we also have Ballerina that we watched.
Yeah, that one is the one I'm most excited for.
What is that one?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a sequel or a prequel to John Wick, but it's the same director, producer that made John Wick. Same universe. It's just
about other assassins.
In the third John Wick movie, you find out that there's ballerinas who are essentially like women assassins,
like Black Widow.
Yeah, brought up as ballerinas, like dancers, but they're actually assassins. And this movie is going to follow Ana de Armas' character, who is a ballerina. She seems like she's on the run from something, and of course, it's going to have all the cool kills and action that John Wick has. And John Wick's actually in it too.
Yeah, we got to keep it John Wick.
John Wick.
Do you think that she's going to be? Do you think Ana de Armas is going to be as intense and rigorous in training as Keanu Reeves was, because Keanu Reeves was so intense in training? Like, do you think that she's going to be like, because
are you talking about like off screen, like when
off screen? Like you watch. There was like for a long time. One of the big things about John Wick was like all of like the behind the scenes coming out of him in like learning the choreography and so on, and how he was like it was like, wow, this guy actually is like using weapons, and he's like broken records.
Right.
He invented the when you take your handgun and you flick the clip out, and they use that in actual like gun
training them?
Not even training, but like competitions, like shooting competitions.
I think she did it in the trailer.
It's a quicker way, and they weren't even doing that until he did it.
Yeah.
And he came into the set one day and was just like, hey, check this out, and they were like, and then he throws another one in, and now they do it in actual
I'm
gun
pretty sure she
trainings.
did that in this movie.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is he's like over here so in tune with it that he's like adding to the sport.
Right.
And do you think that she's going to be as intense?
It's a good question.
She went pretty intense for Marilyn Monroe.
She, Ana de Armas seems like one of those people who would. And especially because John Wick is now known as the new Matrix, where it's like the action is unbeatable.
She's got a standard that she's got to.
She got a standard that she got to put up to, and I think she would be the person to do it. On the opposite side, the same director writer as John Wick did Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. That one didn't seem as even though it was the same stigma where when the director of John Wick, he didn't seem to put. I don't know if he did put in as much work, but it didn't seem as like fun.
I never watched that one, but I did just read an article where the director was saying he wants to do an old man Batman
With Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk does do his own stunts too, and they are cool stunts. I think it's the amount of stunts in the story that was lackluster.
Well, he's also, I think he's older than Keanu, or if he's not older.
Yeah, also, Bob Odenkirk is
I was gonna say if he's not, if he's not older, so was Keanu though in his beginning of his career.
Yeah, but Keanu spent a lot of time doing a lot of action.
Yeah, I would say if Bob Odenkirk isn't older, he definitely is not as nimble.
Nimble. Yeah. I agree.
Biologically older.
I think with Ana de Armas, what she has the upper hand on is she's a lot younger. She's in her early 30s.
Yeah.
Right? And
I don't know. Maybe not.
And
Maybe.
she's flexible.
And
Like
agile.
more agile.
And you get a whole entire different category catalog of fighting because you're fighting as a dancer, a woman dancer. So it's gonna be very nimble, very flexible.
Yeah.
And so it's.
I think she's.
And what is that coming out on? It's a show, right?
No, that one's coming out. Leaders.
It's a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a movie.
The movie's coming out.
Sweet.
Next year, I think March.
Awesome.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't quote me on that, but it is early next year.
Cool.
Yeah. So those are the trailers that we had. They all look really fun, and let's get into the news. All right. So the first thing I have is that Moana 2 beat out Super Mario Bros. Or is on track to beat out Super Mario Bros. As the #1 selling animated movie in the box office.
Really?
Yes, and I believe actually with this last weekend it did because it did take in a lot of money. I think $52 more million. $52 more million.
I had a feeling it was going to, unfortunately, which is kind of funny because it's like Disney seems like they really kind of like pivoted because this was supposed to be a TV show,
right?
And then it wasn't supposed to have as big of a budget, and then they ended up, or I should say,
Is this the live action one?
Yeah.
No.
This is the animated Moana 2.
Oh, this one's
animated.
animated?
This is
Aren't they making a live action?
They are also making a live action of Moana,
How many
which comes
Moanas
out
do
next
they
year.
need?
Exactly. And also, The Rock is going to be Maui and Dad.
I know.
Which is a little bit crazy to me that they're doing it so quickly. That's what I'm saying. Is there's no way you're bringing that to a new generation,
right.
Like a new audience, because it's
the same generation.
so quickly. They're just doing it to make money.
Yeah. Which kind of sucks, but
but that being said, like Lin-Manuel did not come back for Moana 2. It was supposed to be a TV show. Bob Iger said, we're going to start pulling back on a lot of things. So then they pivoted and ended up making it just a feature length, piecing it together. And I had a feeling it was going to do really well. It just kind of makes me a little upset that it's doing so well.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
This one really flew under the radar for me. I was not. I didn't even know it came out, and now it's like breaking records.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
yeah, I just I heard of it, but it wasn't as big as like Wicked.
I mean, the original Moana,
it wasn't.
Came out and I saw it, and like, it was a big thing.
Yeah, it was good, but I just thought, all right, this is it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do?
It ended so well that they didn't need a second movie, but they did. I mean, I guess they obviously made a lot of money to make a second.
I'll probably see it when it comes to streaming. I have no problem when it comes to Disney.
Yeah, streaming is fine. I just don't. I wouldn't go to the theaters for it.
I'd rather see Moana 2 than live action Moana 2.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that this one. Also, I really am confused, and I know that Moana's supposed to be younger, but not even that much younger. She's like in her late teens. It seems like. I don't know why they didn't use the girl who voiced Moana, who's actually Hawaiian.
Yeah, everyone, literally
like
every single person is saying that.
Making Maui, The Rock. Why don't they just make her if you're gonna go all the way?
It's because it's The Rock.
Of
course, The Rock's gonna be the live action.
Age.
I know she does.
I didn't know that, but yeah, that does sound
it's weird.
a little
I don't know if
crazy.
I need to see The Rock shirtless.
Well, he's
Any more
wearing
than
a
I
muscle
have?
suit too,
Yeah.
because it's easier for him to get in and out of the tattoos.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
he's wearing a muscle suit over his muscles,
For sure.
just because for quickly, being able to get in and out of it.
Also, Maui is larger than life, wide.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But he's not. The muscle
He's
suit
not.
doesn't look that much big. It doesn't make him look that much bigger.
It doesn't. Yeah.
So
I think.
it is what it is.
But in a lot better news, Sonic and Reebok are doing a collab with their shoes. So they're gonna have Sonic, they're gonna have Tails, and they're gonna have Knuckles shoes that you can buy from Reebok.
But-
That sounds awesome.
But I already thought you had a pair of
No, those are
Reebok
not
shoes
official
that
collabs.
look like those.
And those, no, those are not official collabs.
Tim has a
But
pair.
those-
Tim has a pair of shoes where it's literally just like a blank mesh shoe, and there's like a big band that goes across the top. And
Mine were gray, but
Those are
we did-
Pumas.
Pumas.
They were
Pumas.
But we did find some that were red and had a white band. We thought it sounded.
It's literally just a Sonic shoe, but it was an
So
unofficial
funny.
collab. But now they're
So
doing
are
an
they
official
making
collab.
them look like shoes on there? Or are they doing it as in like character? Like, is a shoe gonna be blue, or is it gonna be like shoes he wears?
No, it's gonna be like Sonic.
Sonic shoes. His iconic
Okay,
shoes are the
okay.
red
The
shoe
red
with the
with the
white
white.
band.
I thought they were
over
gonna
the
be like
top.
blue, and they would be like
But Tails
Sonic
has like
shoes.
yellow shoes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Tails
That
has
makes
yellow
that
shoes?
makes more sense. Yeah.
Tails has. They all have the same color shoes. Or they all have the same different color shoes with the same band, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure what the other two are, honestly. I just know Sonic.
And they're doing Tails,
They are
Sonic,
doing-
and who?
It's a pretty good
And
idea,
Knuckles?
honestly.
Yeah. And then I don't know if they're doing a shadow either. I didn't read about the shadow one, but I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Isn't it just black and white?
I might cop a pair
I don't know off the top of my head.
just for the fun of it.
I should look. But yeah, I was gonna say the Sonic shoes sound kind of funny. They sound fun. But hear this out. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is set to direct in an AI Ryan Johnson, I guess, produced movie with Anne Hathaway and Joseph Gordon-Levitt starring in it. But an AI movie that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's kind
Jeez.
Is it about AI, or AI is like creating a
of. You know, there's
cartoon?
all I have is that I think it's an AI like generated. I mean, not completely generated, but I think it's AI.
So like a generated like mission kind of thing, like
Well,
a
Rain
mission, almost like a
Johnson
mission
is-
statement
Rain Johnson's
of
the
the,
guy
like
who's
the
been
description
doing-
of the movie.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
There's so
but-
many adaptations of how you could do an AI.
Yeah, there's so
movie,
many
but-
ways they can add it in.
AI with
Literally script it.
Well-
I mean, you could have them write a script. You can do just a description of
Well-
a movie and go from that. You can have them just create a
Images.
whole animated thing. And
Yeah, I
use
mean
voiceover.
CGI you can put in the
Yeah.
background. We've been playing around with this thing where it's you just record a clip of your actors, and then you can select your actor, and then you can AI like a CGI character over their emotion, and it takes like 30 minutes, and it just like slaps it on there, and you're ready to go.
right.
And it's crazy what you can do. So I mean, there's like so many things they could do with the AI. But Rain Johnson is the guy that's been doing the Knives Out movies. So I'm interested to see if it's like a whodunit or if it's like a
Yeah,
murder mystery.
right.
We don't know anything about it.
No, all that's said is that they're starring in it, he's directing it,
Yeah.
and it's an AI movie. So,
Well,
Unless it's about AI.
yeah, I was
There's a
saying,
lot of studios that are coming out saying they're going to start working with AI. So this
yeah.
is
So, this is just the first step
yeah.
that we knew was coming, I guess. Or
Mhm.
one of the first steps.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
No, I don't really care about AI that much in like a scary aspect, but I feel like it just takes everyone's creative ideas out the window. Everyone is just like, I'll just use AI to figure out what I'm going to talk about.
Takes away a lot of careers too.
Like-
It does.
It does, but like, I could sit and think for days and come up with this amazing idea, potentially, or I could just go right now and look up AI and it'll give me an idea of what to do.
Mhm.
But it's like, it's not your idea, which sucks. At the end of the day, you don't have the full, I mean, you kind of have the right to it, but not fully. Like, that's not your...
Even if it's in your own head.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
is
I'm s-
tough.
well,
It's a
I
tough-
guess,
it's a
but,
tough
like-
topic.
Knowing that you
It's
didn't
hard to
fully-
justify it.
I just
to
think
fully
it's...
get credit.
The only reason I think it's scary is because it's so overused that, like, I really don't know what's someone's idea and what's something that they just pulled from it.
Well, I'm a firm believer that it's a tool overall. And I understand that it's going to take jobs. And I understand that it's scary because it's new. But, I mean, when the digital camera came out and put film to the wayside, you needed more people to run film than you need to run a digital camera. That
Yeah.
took jobs, you know? When I mean, innovation is happening all the time, and it's
Right.
the job market's continually changing. So I feel like so many people are so focused on the fact that it's going to take jobs when they're not it's coming whether you like it or not. You're not going to be able to stop it, you know.
No.
So it's just like learn how to use it as a tool.
That's
Just
what I'm
start
saying.
using
I'm
it.
not.
Curve.
I'm
Yeah.
not worried about AI becoming more evolved because no matter what it will be, but I'm just more worried about how people are going to use it in a sense of
Yes.
like, is it really going to be a creative world anymore? Or is it just going to be all
Right.
AI generated?
So,
Well, I think at the end of the day, and I've said this before, I think at the end of the day, what you're going to see is you're going to see more of a push towards human creators because of AI generated films or music or whatever art form you're looking at. You're going to people. It's not natural, and there might become a point where it seems like looks natural, looks like it looks like it could be up there with the ranks of any best CGI movie you've ever seen, you know, or best written movie you've ever seen. And there's a point where it could be up there with the ranks. But I think humans are always going to want human art, you know, and I think it's going to maybe push and it might be more of a niche, unfortunately, because it's going to be, if AI takes over and it becomes like the mainstream, like Disney remaking their live action, their classics into live action movies, like that is kind of like it's a cash cow. You know, that's what they're doing. They're literally just cashing in, and that's what AI is going to be. Is the big studios are just going to be using it to cash in, but it's going to push. It's going to push like human-made art into a niche, but there's still going to be a pretty strong market for it, I think, because it's going to be this was no AI, and people want that. You know,
Right. Yeah. That's fair. Yes, there's no shortage of talking about AI, especially right now.
yeah.
and I think that
And
it's just to get ahead of the curve.
We've covered it
Yeah.
a lot, you
Yeah.
know, and I think that at the end of the day, I think like Tim,
It is what it is.
yeah, to the point is
No, I agree.
just as an artist, whatever your art form is, whatever your medium is, just figure out how to use it as a tool for you, and you're going to make yourself more marketable.
And once again, I think with AI too, there's so many people in Hollywood that don't like you were saying, Disney and everything like that, businesses who don't really care about the art, but the individual. I mean, not all the time, but I'm not saying they don't. But there's a lot of individual filmmakers who, like Sam was saying, that it's not fully their idea. And I think a lot of people that are artists, quote unquote, don't want to live with the fact that they're using AI as well. So I think it's not going to be as like heavy of a spike as that we're thinking.
Yeah, 100%.
When I was at that bar with Pierce, we were talking about AI a lot, and they were just.
Yeah.
I think they were more upset about AI actually being introduced into entertainment business because it, like, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
They were upset. They like genuinely looked upset because they spent so much time and effort into learning these skills
Well, yeah.
and all that and developing all this knowledge that now it's gonna be like cut in half for other people that are coming up. So it's gonna take like half the time than they spent.
It's the same thing
To
as
do-
it's
Well,
the same
but
thing
it's-
as a blacksmith though, who used to craft a sword with a hammer and a forge, and then all of a sudden machinery comes around, and now I don't have to swing the hammer anymore. The machine can swing the hammer for me. You know what I'm saying? But we still get knives. We still need knives. You know, we still need them to be made, and they can
Yeah.
be manufactured at a higher rate, which is fine. But there's still plenty of jobs, and you just gotta learn how to use it. You know.
Right.
I think it's just really how you use it. I mean, I think the only thing that upsets people is people who are in film will pay money to go to college and be in debt until they can, make it to where they don't have any debt with that and everything. Or you could just use AI and it's free, and there's
I think
like
it's-
that. I think that's like
I
where
think-
people get upset because they're like, I went and I studied this and everything, and I could have gotten the same idea that I have right now that I thought about for months
Yeah.
from AI, which is free,
Well,
and there's my movie,
arguably free. You have to pay for a lot of
Well,
them. But,
yes,
yeah.
but at the same time, like I could go on ChatGPT and be like, give me a good idea for a movie in Hawaii.
Yes, I understand
You
what
know.
you're saying, and I think the conversation for me specifically is an empathetic conversation where it's like I empathize with all of these artists and where they're coming from. I see it, like what you just said, where they're spending all this money and then time to learn these skills, and now it's kind of irrelevant because you don't need. Anybody can do them now, but at the same time, I think artistry is not about skill as much as it is about intuition. And I think the intuition, the AI is never going to have the intuition, you know,
Right.
and I think that's where
Yeah.
you really shine through. So I think that's like, if you're really as good of an artist as you think you are, and you have a good vision and you have a good intuition, I don't think the AI can really ever, you know, you might not get a job at Disney,
Mhm.
you know, but I think there's still a place for you, and you just got to look for it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Mhm. I mean, at the end
Yeah,
of the
that
day, it's
makes
not
sense.
it's not a brain, it's not your brain. So I guess just like you said, use it how you want it.
Mm-hmm. So and there's going to be a lot of people who are out of jobs, and that's because they decided to be bitter about it, as opposed to
Yeah.
say, you know, maybe this is my reality. How do I work with this now? You know, how do I live in this new bubble instead of, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and then lastly, just really quick, sorry we're going to be ending on a pretty bad note as well, but Elton John, I guess, is now legally blind in both eyes.
Is he really?
I guess so. I guess he had an eye infection in one eye, and it spread to his other eye. I guess he got that one out after the fact, and then it spread to this side. And so now it's affecting his ability to play. But yeah,
Dude, he could be the next Stevie Wonder.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
I feel like his fingers.
I mean,
know
he's
what
he's
they're
really
doing.
good. You know, he made
Thankfully,
his life
I
worth
think he has
living,
enough
but
talent to not have to look at the
He
piano.
doesn't have
He
to.
wore sunglasses anyways. We don't need.
Yeah.
We don't need him to see.
I'm just saying, if he wants to play, Stevie Wonder did it.
Yeah.
I mean-
he's still doing it.
Elton John knows what he's
I won't get
doing.
into
His
that
fingers
conversation,
know
but-
where they're going. His mouth, he can still sing,
Yeah.
arguably. But I think at the end of the day, it is very sad that he is blind, especially
Yeah, that's-
from an
that-
infection.
yeah.
You know, it's just like
That's really sad,
tough,
actually.
Yeah.
You know,
It is sad, but
Not any money in the world is gonna save you from that.
no.
No.
new eyes.
Well,
Maybe new eyes.
Well, you know what? At least he. I mean, not that
Robotic eyes.
he's like old,
Yeah.
but at least he like lived his life.
Maybe he's older.
He's
Josh
older,
Allen-
but he's not like old to where
Right.
it's like.
I mean, he had the opportunity to say that he's done touring, and he finished his last tour and stuff like that. So he's done.
Yeah, I mean, like he's lived his
run.
life. It just
yeah,
yeah,
he did,
that just
he did
sucks
announce
that it's like
he's done touring, but I think that means that I think he's still doing performances and recording stuff.
Is he
but-
fully blind or is it like?
I assume he's not like it's not black.
Mhm.
But he's
Well, see, I
definitely
don't even-
probably got like cataracts. And
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to
See, I don't even know what like fully blind is. It really like? I guess this is a whole different
Yeah,
topic.
I have
but,
no
like,
idea, so I don't even
I don't
wanna talk
know.
on
Yeah, but
this. Is
Anyway.
this? Am I reading this right? Robert Pattinson said by the time the Batman movies are done, he could genuinely be retiring.
Yeah. So, really quickly, Robert, I think it was more cheeky that he said it, but that kind of leads to a lot of people. So, let's start over. So, Robert Pattinson said that he was going to potentially be retiring by the time the Batman movies were over, and that kind of brought up a lot of speculation as between if it's just because the movies are taking so long, or if he actually is going to be retiring after, if he doesn't want to act for the rest of his life.
Oh, so it's not like he's saying he'll play Batman till he's done.
Yeah, that could mean that too. He just said it, and so now it's not that I necessarily.
I think he likes Batman, and
I think
honestly,
so, too.
those movies. I should say not those movies. That movie specifically has gained such a love so quickly in the Batman community, where everybody says that it blows even Christopher Nolan's movies out of the water. Where it's like they got hit it on the nail because Christopher Nolan gave us a good Batman, but Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson gave us a good Batman and a good Gotham.
Yeah.
So it's like people want him to be it. So it's interesting if he would love to do it for the rest. Like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they'll continue making them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, he's young enough to keep pump. I mean, but he's not that young also. So organically,
Yeah, but he looks young. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It doesn't matter if he's young or not. He
I'm
looks
saying
young.
Organically, in between the movies, I'm sure
well, I wonder
It's
if it's
not-
just because
yeah.
they might have like more Batman movies lined up to where he's like, I could do this one, then these ones that people don't know about, and maybe he's just.
And James
years
Gunn
and
gave
years
us
of
the
Batman.
10-year plan, but I bet you he has more in store. I think that he's already planning out farther than 10 years, probably.
Yeah, I think that they have set right now. They had set a trilogy, and then some. But I think with Penguin kind of blowing up, I think they really have turned back on the oven and thrown back in like some of the other like spin-off shows for HBO or Max, because a lot of them they were going to kind of scrap, but then Penguin did so well, so now they're like, oh, we're going to do GCPD again, and we're going to do Arkham Asylum again.
Oh, they announced that?
They announced that they're going to that now they're opening these back up and like taking a second look at them.
Well, that being said, I did read that Jeffrey Wright said that he was not approached for being in Penguin season 1, but he said he'd be interested in being in Penguin season 2 if his schedule allows it.
Yeah.
So I think he likes being Gordon too, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I think it's really cool.
All right, well let's talk about box office highlights.
Yeah. Speaking of Moana, Moana came in with an extra 52 million this month or this.
In its second weekend,
Yeah,
which brought its domestic total to 300 million,
Mm-hmm.
and then global earnings to 600 million, which is setting a post-Thanksgiving weekend record.
Yeah, I think
That's wild.
That is crazy.
crazy.
I think, but to be honest with you, I remember when Aquaman broke $1 billion and everybody was like, this is crazy,
Yeah.
that these movies are breaking $1 billion. But it also cost, we just went and saw Wicked and it cost us $20 a person to see
Yeah,
Wicked.
that's very true. So I really want to know how, like, the people versus the movie tickets, because $20, that's crazy.
It's like they're, I
Like
think
our group was more than $100.
Yeah, they're definitely charging more for tickets. So that means, obviously, like if Wizard of Oz were to come out today, I wonder how much it would make, because with the what is the word I'm looking for? Like when the dollar is worth
Fluctuation.
Yeah, the dollar
Inflation?
is inflation. With the inflation, that's the word I'm looking for. So with the inflation, I wonder like what Wizard of Oz would have made today, and
Right.
obviously people are going to see movies on certain things,
That's
but
fair.
like
movies cost more. I think
that's what I'm
and
saying.
there's more
Even
options
more
for
than they did
movies
20
now, too.
years ago.
Now you can get a $14 movie, you can get a $30 movie, depending
Yeah,
on the quality you want, and the experience you want. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more variety going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot more movie theaters and movie theater.
Well. Speaking about Wicked, Wicked was the film adaptation. Basically, added up to 34.9 million in its third weekend, so it reached 320.5 million domestically,
Right.
and 455 million globally.
Which is
So it's less than Moana?
It looks like it's less than Moana.
The third week
That was an
that's a
opening
week
weekend,
difference.
yeah.
So Moana's 2 is in its second weekend, which makes sense on why it's doing like 20
So
million more.
it made 600 million second weekend, but Wicked
But for
in
really
its
being-
third
for
weekend,
being number 2 in the box office, being the third week for it,
yeah.
over Gladiator 2 and Y2K.
Yes. Well, I didn't think Y2K was going to
we'll
make a
we'll get
lot.
to that in a minute. But it's doing well, Wicked. I think Wicked's gonna stay in theaters for.
Yeah,
a
it just
while here. I think you can still milk it.
there was something else that it just beat
Not just,
as like number 1 movie.
yeah.
So it made
I forgot what it was.
Yeah,
It was
well,
like
that's what I'm
number
trying to say is-
1 musical.
Oh, number 1 musical.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there was
it-
another.
it
What
was
was this? Was it Grease?
It beat Grease.
That's when-
Actually, right now the Glee Defying Gravity is ranking higher on like Billboard 100 or Hot 100, like right above Cynthia and Ariana.
We're gonna have to go watch that after this.
Well, that's so funny because I feel like that's always how it goes. Whenever there's like a new song
There's
that
just
comes
multiple,
out.
but for Glee to be on top is kind of
I
crazy.
think it always is because when these movies come out, like we always go back to the Glee version. We always like remember when Glee did it, and Glee was
Glee did it a little bit better.
Glee was such a phenomenon to where everybody was like, "Oh my goodness, they're doing this song and they're doing this song," because they covered all the bases on
Yeah,
the
like
songs. You know what I'm
Telephone.
saying? And they're not bad renditions. They're actually really good renditions of them.
No, they're
too.
actually pretty good. Telephone was a little bit questionable, but yeah, some of
There's
them
a
are
lot
pretty
of
good.
them.
Yeah.
But like we've
Yeah.
talked about this before, like "Don't Stop Believing" was a big song, but it wasn't nearly as big as it is today.
Oh yeah, no,
It wasn't nearly as big as it is today
Until Glee.
until Glee.
yeah, no. I sang in choir. We sang "Don't Stop Believing," but we sang the Glee version.
Glee version.
We did. So when I was in alto, all I sang was da, da.
I remember when they did "Don't Stop Believing" in the first episode. It was like a cultural phenomenon. People were like, "Wait a second, this is amazing," and it was everywhere. It was you couldn't even hide from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Glee really did something. And I
It
hate
really,
that
it
did
really
do something.
did. It really did. When you watch it now, it's like questionable why it was so popular.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? It was pretty good at the time.
It's still kind of good. But
No,
it
it's
was
still
definitely-
definitely good because it's iconic, but yeah, it has.
Well,
moments.
Gladiator 2 made
12.5 mil. over the
12.5 million. It's what, second weekend?
weekend.
Third
This
weekend
weekend is
too?
third
No,
weekend as well.
yeah,
Came out
because
the same day as
same with Wicked.
yeah,
And-
earning 132.7 million worldwide or domestically, right? Yeah, 368 million worldwide. Which puts it behind Wicked.
Yeah.
About 100 million behind Wicked, which is to be expected. I feel like more people are talking about Wicked than Gladiator 2.
Well, I've seen Gladiator once and Wicked twice.
Is the
and I plan on seeing Wicked a third time.
I got on the schedule for a fifth time now.
What were you saying?
is the first Gladiator the one with Gerard Butler?
No. Russell Crowe.
300
Oh,
had
yeah,
Gerard
yeah, yeah.
Butler.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you
Yeah.
see that in the movie?
In Gladiator.
In 2?
No.
No, he has his own, right? You were saying?
Oh, he has his own in it, and it's actually they say it twice in it, and you totally can tell that they're trying to come up with like a new catchphrase for his what is it, Paul Mescal's character.
Yeah.
But I think it doesn't hit its mark. I think it is wherever death is, we are not, and wherever we are not, death is. And I'm like, that doesn't work. Well, especially because the first time he says it to his army, and then his army gets wiped out. So it's like it doesn't hit the
Yeah,
mark.
but Pedro Pascal's hot, so maybe I'd watch it.
Well,
Yeah, the first
you should watch
Gladiator-
both of them
the
actually.
first
Is he in the
Gladiator
first one?
Is a heavy movie. It's a good one.
Is he in the first Gladiator?
No.
Who is?
No.
No, Pedro
Pedro
Pascal is
Pascal.
not, but Joaquin Phoenix is. I would say that this movie, I
He's not
actually
on my
really
Hear Me Out
enjoyed Gladiator 2, and I was kind of skeptical, but I really enjoyed it, and I feel like I think it takes a page from the Lord of the Rings, where when you're watching Lord of the Rings Fellowship and you go into Two Towers and then you go into Return of the King, it feels like it's one movie.
Yeah.
And this does the same thing. It doesn't feel like a sequel. It feels like it's the same movie as just like separated by, however many years.
Okay, so it's in its third week now. Not that spoiler warning really quickly, but Connor and I have been going back and forth on it for a little bit, and I didn't want to know at first, but I kind of do want to know now. How did they introduce Paul Mescal as Maximus's son? Because Maximus's son died in the last movie.
Yeah, Maximus' son did die, but he's so you got to remember though. Do you guys remember Gladiator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's Lucius.
Okay, so he's.
Do you remember Lucius?
Explain for our viewers.
So, you've never seen Gladiator, right?
I don't know anything about
Okay,
it.
well,
Okay, so
without
I'm
spoiling
gonna give you a quick little rundown, real quick. So
Are they
so,
knights?
What?
Are they knights?
No, it's Roman. So
Oh.
they're gladiators in the Colosseum.
Oh,
fighters.
okay.
Slave fighters.
Okay.
So they're slave fighters. Anyway, so let me explain. In the time of Maximus was a high-ranking general in the Roman army underneath Marcus Aurelius.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of Marcus Aurelius's most trusted. Anyways, through a certain number of events, he ends up becoming enslaved. Or I should say, they turn on him, becomes enslaved, becomes a gladiator, and because he is such a high-ranking general, he is far more superior at fighting than any of these people. You know what I'm saying? But he also has a really high moral code and a vendetta.
And no one knows that he's a gladiator, right? Throughout most of it?
Nobody knows that's
He has a
Maximus
mask on.
until he says,
Until later on.
I am Maximus. Yeah,
Yeah, he tells everybody.
and he says, "Are you not entertained?" And does that whole thing. Now, remember, don't forget. Remember, he kills. It's when Joaquin Phoenix comes in, because Joaquin Phoenix becomes the emperor.
Right.
And when Joaquin Phoenix comes in and he does the whole thing,
Right.
and then he ends up killing Joaquin.
Right.
Now, Joaquin was having a relationship with his sister.
Okay, that's what. Okay, yes.
Remember
It's
that?
the bastard kid.
Yeah.
But
He was
it's
having
not.
a relationship with his own sister?
Yeah, they had that
Yeah.
type of thing going on back then, especially in like they wanted to keep the
Especially
blood
royal
pure.
Especially Joaquin
families.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep the blood pure.
Character.
But anyways, what I'm trying to say is
That's
Lucius
disgusting.
is thought to be Joaquin's character, and at the very end when Joaquin dies, they send Lucius away. Because now Rome is going up in arms. Now Maximus is dead because he dies in the gladiator fight,
Right.
and now Lucius is sent away. I don't really remember if you find out in that movie, but actually Maximus has a relationship with her as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And with Joaquin's sister as well.
Right.
And so Lucius is now actually the heir to the throne, but he's gone.
Right.
When he's like 12.
Right.
They send him away.
Right. So he's like the kid that no one knew about.
He's
but
he's actually Maximus's kid, not
right.
Not Joaquin's.
I remember
Right. Yes, I see what you're saying. Instead, yeah.
Yeah. So he's
Yes.
actually Maximus's son.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And he knows who he is, but he's like he denies it.
Yeah.
Like he denies it. And it's all about him basically taking Rome back however many years later. So it's about a coup basically, as opposed to it's not necessarily his story like it was Maximus's story. It's more about
Rome's
him
story.
coming back and taking Rome back now.
Yeah.
So
So
it's really
bag then.
I thought, yeah, it is. It totally is. And that's why I said it feels like a good continuation as opposed to a remake, like a sequel remake with new characters.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I mean, they did leave it. Yeah, they left it on a note where they could do something like that.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, and Pedro Pascal's character is not a bad character. He's like a good guy.
Yeah.
So.
Slay.
But he does die. Spoiler alert.
Crazy.
Slay
Nah,
the
if you
boots.
caught it, you caught it. You know?
Slay the house.
If you caught it, you caught it.
Slay the house boots down.
Well, that being said, Y2K, A24's disaster comedy, set during the time of the turn of the millennium, has debuted with $2 million, but with a $2 million box office.
It made about $2 million, and
What
it
was
cost about $2 million. So
Alright.
it's almost broken even. I don't think it has quite yet, but still, it's only broken even.
I mean,
didn't
that's-
think it was going
Comparatively-
to.
But I feel like they put a lot of good marketing into it.
Well, I'm not saying that, but you gotta remember that just because it made $2 million in the box office doesn't mean they're not recouping.
No,
They're-
yeah.
I'm sure that they're recouping in other ways too, because it is kind of one of those cultural phenomenons where people are really into it.
Right.
And everybody loves A24 right now.
I mean,
so.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, people are saying it's A24's first flop disaster bad movie.
Well, it's Kyle Mooney. I mean, there's he's got an audience,
Yeah.
and I know that there's people.
Yeah, but
in
I
our,
feel like this movie. When I first saw the first marketing for this movie, I thought it was an SNL skit.
that's because it's Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, I
Let
know.
me explain. I mean, I know we have people in our immediate vicinity who like Kyle Mooney's films, which is fine. I like Kyle Mooney as a comedian. I think he's really funny. Sam and I were just talking about it because he was in the Sabrina Carpenter Christmas nonsense special.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and I'm sure he was in there to promote the movie.
Yeah.
But I think Kyle Mooney, I don't like if you watched his other movie that he made, it's not great, I don't think anybody expected this to be amazing, So at least breaking even is kind of a feat.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Rachel Zegler wanted to do this, because I feel like she's one of those type of people who is trying to make the right movies to kind of rise up the ranks.
Well, it's an A24 movie
A24
though,
movie.
and that's the right move.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what an A24 movie is at this point. A24 is the right move.
That's true.
They're the new Miramax.
That's true. I still want to see it. I still haven't probably going to see it.
I want to see it just because I remember my mom telling me how crazy everyone was when she had me in 2000. She was like, it was crazy right before you were born. Everyone was freaking out, and I was like, I don't know, but it's just so funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a stupid premise. I think
it'll be fun.
I
Funny.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it'll be good.
I actually do wonder if they're gonna have somebody, I guess that's more for 2000 babies, but I wonder if they're gonna have anyone who's pregnant, because I know that was a huge thing, especially with my mom. She's like, I was so scared because I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Going into 2000, everyone thought the world was gonna end, so I was like, oh my gosh, my baby, I'm pregnant.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, those are the box office earnings for this weekend.
No.
No surprises.
Well, let's go into our main topic today, which is we're just going to cover Christmas movies and our 4 favorite Christmas movies.
Talk about that.
Now, Sam has been watching Polar Express every night since the day after Thanksgiving, so let's talk to Sam first. Which is your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, you just said it. It's Polar Express.
Is it Polar Express?
Yeah,
Really?
100%. It's Polar
Give us
Express.
some reasons why. Why do you like Polar Express?
Well, I feel like.
Hot take, because I know.
Well, no, okay. I feel like this.
Uncanny Valley over
I
here.
feel like this relates to a lot of people when I say it's very nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
One, it was a movie that you would go to school like the day before Christmas break, and you would go in your pajamas and you would watch that in your class. And sometimes you would even like in my school we would always do that and like have hot chocolate, and it would be like
They would roll
a
the
party.
VCR
You know, it
in.
was like it really wasn't like a school day. It was like you just go to school and you watch Polar Express.
Polar Express.
But I've loved that movie since I was a kid. So it's just one of those like warm, fuzzy feelings.
Mm-hmm.
The music in it is also very nostalgic to me. If I like ever have like any stress, I could honestly probably listen to that soundtrack and I would feel totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even kidding.
I get you. Well, it makes
And
a lot
every
of
time
sense,
I hear it on TikTok, it's like
it's
I immediately am like I don't even know
Robert
what I was thinking.
Zemeckis, and it's his longtime collaborator who did the scores for Forrest Gump, Avengers Endgame, Alan Silvini, or I'm sorry, I don't know what his name is, but he did the soundtrack for Forrest Gump. He did the soundtrack for like a lot of these like really big movies that you're like, these are iconic soundtracks.
Well, they are, and I feel like with Polar Express, there's so much to it. Like the boy is like the entire movie. He doesn't even have a name.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a name in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And then it's basically all Tom Hanks,
Would you say that you liked the movie because
which is
you
so
liked the book?
interesting. What?
Would you say you liked the movie because you liked the book?
I actually never read the book.
Oh.
I've only seen the movie, and my dad
You
and
have
us,
the
like
book,
my
though.
we would always play. There's a Polar Express game. That
You
was my
still never
favorite
read the
game
book?
as a kid. I don't think I've ever read the
You
book.
have a
I know we
copy of
have
it.
it, but I've never actually like read it.
I'll read it
It's
to you
for
tonight.
aesthetics.
But
Tuck you
Literally,
in.
it's about the mental.
Yeah, I'll read.
I know it is. It is.
I'll tuck you in and read you a.
I don't know if I've
bedtime
ever read
story.
it. The only reason I could think I would is because my dad used to read us. What's that typical like Christmas
It was
book?
the night before
Yeah.
Christmas.
My dad used to read that to us every Christmas Eve. So
Mhm.
my only thing is maybe he got it for us and read it one time, and I just don't remember.
Has this always been your favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah, literally since I was a kid.
Since you were a kid, and it's just never left.
It's never left. But there's just so much like he rips his robe, and he has a hole in his robe, and he loses his marbles,
Mm-hmm.
and then goes to the North Pole, has this great night. Then the next morning, he pulls his robe and rips the exact same hole where the marble was. So it's like basically a dream. But then he gets the bell that he accidentally left on Santa's sleigh from Santa.
It was real.
So it's
the whole
like that's
time.
like I don't know, to me as a
It
kid I
is,
was like that's like the magic of Christmas that I would think of.
Polar Express. I've seen it so many times that I've gotten to a point where it's like a little bit too much for me. But that being said, I do think it really encapsulates the magic of
That's what I'm
Christmas
saying.
as a child.
Without it being like I mean, not that they really do like a bippy boppy boo, but like without it just being like the Santa Claus, they use magic in like everything, but like Polar Express, it's like I mean, there are some magical things in
Well,
it,
the conductor.
but like the
is
ending is like
same.
that's like subtle magic.
Yeah.
You know,
You try flipping up and flipping around while singing a song while serving hot cocoa.
It's
There's
just
magic
like-
in that.
I don't know, like it's just such a interesting idea of how to make a Christmas movie, and they did it 100 like all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I would probably say, as a kid, my favorite Christmas movie was Jingle All the Way. And I don't know if that's because it's fun or if it's because it was one of those movies that I would catch on TV when I was flipping channels, and I never actually knew what it was growing up.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, whenever I would catch it on a channel, I would be so excited because it would be like, oh my goodness, I love this movie, but I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that was probably one of the reasons that was my favorite Christmas movie growing up. And then it got into Christmas Vacation, which I got really into. And I still love Christmas Vacation. I would still say Christmas Vacation is probably my favorite Christmas movie through and through for the longest time. Even though I've seen it so many times, it gets a little old sometimes, but I'll always sit down and watch it, you know?
Yeah.
But recently, we just watched Nutcrackers, that new one on Hulu with Ben Stiller, and it was really good. I think that was probably the best Christmas movie I've seen in a long time, like new Christmas movie.
See, I want to rewatch it because I was playing on my iPad the whole time.
Yeah, I was playing on my iPad.
On
My
my
mom said I
iPad.
could play
I
on
was
my
playing on
iPad.
my iPad the whole time.
My mom said I could play on my iPad while we watched a movie.
It's clean time.
It's my only time to play on my iPad.
I think Jingle All the Way was also fun, in my opinion, because growing up similarly to you, it was one of those ones where every other Christmas movie, like Santa. That's why I'm not a Grinch. I just have seen every Christmas movie so many times that I don't want to keep watching. Because
No,
David especially is like you.
No, it's 100. Like it's very
it's-
accurate because even now I've watched every single Christmas movie I could think of, and I'm
Well,
like, oh, now I want to watch another one that I haven't seen this year, but I've watched them all already.
Yeah. Like
So
one of
I get it.
The top
Yeah.
15 Christmas movies that
I'm just like I
that
could.
everyone watches is always they just keep playing on repeat. You know,
Yeah.
like the 25 Days of Christmas is just the same movies over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of get a little bit annoyed. And Jingle All the Way was one of those ones where it was only on TV. We didn't
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah,
have
yeah,
it
yeah.
until later on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we watched a lot of Home Alone and all these VHS.
Yeah.
I like Jingle All the Way because of that.
Yeah, I'm just the type of person where like I love Christmas so much that if it was an actual job to go to the North Pole and be an elf all year round, I would.
That's one of the reasons I really enjoyed Nutcracker this
100%.
year.
I would love to.
too. think
I
it
would.
was-
I would
think
literally
it was
love
Santa.
to celebrate Christmas every single day of my life. Like
I
that
would
would
too.
be so amazing. I would love it so much. I would. Oh my gosh, it'd be
You're
great.
not far off from a world where Christmas is every day. I mean, honestly, we keep expanding the margins on Christmas, where it
No,
starts before Thanksgiving and now it continues on into January.
Seriously.
And
Well,
with Christmas,
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
Pretty soon it's gonna be all
I get
year.
post-Christmas depression really bad because I love Christmas so much, and that's why I like decorating early because Christmas isn't even a full month, and then there's like weeks in December where like you're doing Christmas parties and you're meeting up with friends and you're doing this and you're doing that. Like we're traveling home. You don't even get to celebrate the full time of Christmas that I like to do it early, but it goes by so fast, especially with Thanksgiving, that it's like when Christmas is over, it's like there's not like the only thing to look forward to is next Christmas.
Yeah.
what about post Thanksgiving blues?
I do have post Thanksgiving blues, but it's just the fact that I
That's
know
called
Christmas is
indigestion.
coming up. After Christmas, there's New Year's, which is great. I don't mind it. And then once New Year's is here, it's like, what's the next
dead.
holiday? It's really just it's dead
Pressure.
until
Dead
until
holidays.
what? 4th of July?
It's all Hallmark holidays.
Valentine's Day.
4th of July.
Yeah, Valentine, but it's not like a
Ides of March.
big holiday.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the reasons I really enjoyed
Oh, Easter.
Easter, yeah. One of the reasons I really enjoyed Nutcracker so much is because it feels like it's like A Wonderful Life, where it's a Christmas movie, but it's not really about Christmas. It's really about like a struggle that you're having in your life in the Christmas season, which I'm actually really into those movies a lot more recently. Like The Holdovers is another one where it's like
I
it
know, I
takes
wanna
place
watch that
over
one.
Christmas break and it's a Christmas movie, quote unquote, like technically, but it's not really it's not really about Christmas.
I know, I want to watch that movie still.
And it was so good. It was like that one was another one that was like, man, this is just like a top tier movie. This one really is good. And I think Nutcrackers was right up there with that.
Well, Connor just watched Christmas Vacation the other day for the first time.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
was good.
It's crazy.
It was.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It was good.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your
It was-
favorite? What's your favorite joke? What was your favorite part? What was your favorite part?
It's a really good one.
There's so many. I can quote that entire movie to you.
I don't know. I don't know what my favorite part was.
You surprised,
Well,
Clark?
he-
Honestly, Eddie, if I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet,
I
wouldn't
mean,
be
most
surprised
of
man
most of
right
like
now.
the big events was like the sledding, the whole like Christmas lights,
She wrapped the damn cat.
the attic, the attic,
Yeah.
and then just like the end where like everything just keeps happening where like he lights a tree on fire, then he finds a tree but it has a squirrel in it, and it's like
I think that one
I think the
encapsulates.
lighting the tree on fire was probably the
Yeah.
best part.
I
Like,
think
it's just
I think that
smoking.
movie encapsulates the essence of like a family Christmas the
yeah.
best.
Yasmin was obsessed with the neighbors. She was
Yeah.
like, I want to see what happens more to these neighbors. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna get a lot of stuff.
I don't know, Margot.
Yeah.
So good. What about you, Tim? What's your favorite?
I'm not sure. No, I'm probably watching The Grinch.
It's good.
I was gonna
do
say
love
that.
Grinch.
Dang.
I
It's
think
good.
the Jim Carrey Grinch.
The
Jim
Carrey
It's just
Grinch.
iconic and it's
I
so
think
funny.
It's iconic because there's
Jury
so many
duty,
adult
jury duty,
jokes
black
in
There
it.
blackmail.
is, yeah. I think that's why I
There's
like
so
it
many
so
adult
much.
jokes that they use
Yeah.
and like that is like good for kids.
Yeah.
It's
But
good for
then it gets
both.
I was thinking the
Yeah.
same thing.
As an adult.
Like as an
When he's
adult,
the Holiday Cheermeister.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really hard.
They're shoveling fudge into
See,
his
like-
mouth. He's like,
As an adult, I don't know if I watched Polar Express for the first time now. I mean, I think it would be like a nostalgic feeling, but I don't know if I would love it 100% as much.
yeah.
But The Grinch is definitely targeted towards kids and adults, to where
Yeah.
it's like it's a good movie even if you're watching it for the first like Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
But Polar Express is like definitely
And
aimed towards kids.
Jim Carrey did it much better than Mike Myers.
What
Yeah.
about Coco? I need more
I was
Coco.
gonna say the same thing with the Santa Claus movies. But we watched the Santa Claus 3 last night. I'm like, there's so many funny jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You just
is.
don't catch
Well,
when you're a kid.
Tim Allen
Wow,
was like
that's good.
he's so well known for kids movies,
I
but
love
he's like
Coco.
not a kids comedian,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So actually, our debate last night was which the best Santa Claus movie of the 3.
2.
I think 2 as well, but one I see how one's iconic.
I think 1, just because it's so iconic, and I just
I need
love
more Coco. Coco was a superior
It
drink.
was so funny.
2 is really funny, and you know what? Actually, I realized, and they started doing it, I think either last year or the year before, but I remember this was when like Freeform was actually ABC Family,
Yeah.
and they never ever played the second Santa Claus. I don't know if they like. I don't know what it's Disney, so they were. Well, I don't know if they had the rights to it or whatnot, but they would always play the Santa Claus 3. They never played the second one, which I would always forget what it was.
Yeah.
So I would have to like personally go and like watch it on DVD or something like that.
Right.
And now when they do it, they play it. But obviously we have it on streaming now. But it's so funny. They just recently started adding Santa Claus 2 into the mix.
Bernard is my hear me out. Top tier hear me
Yeah,
out.
but he's not a hear me out.
Yes, nobody talks about
What was the
Bernard.
one where he's in prison and he starts playing?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Oh, the
yeah.
Christmas Chronicles.
Christmas Chronicles.
For being newer
That's
movies,
good.
those ones have both
Those are
jumped up
good.
to being Christmas staples as
Yeah,
well.
those are really good.
And he's the best Santa Claus
He's
I think I've ever
like
seen.
I have never thought that Santa Claus was, I guess, a sylph,
Yeah.
but a sylph.
Santa.
God, that had a hair and that beard with
Dude.
like
I
the
was like,
embroidered
hubba.
Santa jacket. You
I
know.
know,
It's
dude.
like the Legend of the Guardians and Tim Allen
Yeah.
Santa Claus is together, where you don't want to mess with them, but he
No.
almost seems good. Nice, like.
I'd leave my milk and cookies for him.
I bet you would.
But he's not as good as Paul Giamatti's. So, and
Yeah. Fred Claus.
Oh, Fred
Claus,
Claus.
another
Wait,
classic.
actually, that's playing right now in the living room.
Fred Claus is another one that's
Claus.
funny.
Fred Claus got to be a little bit much after I had the ability. To
Oh,
watch
that's
over
one
and
I
over
actually
again,
haven't watched
started
this
watching it a lot,
Yeah.
and,
And what was that one we just started watching where he's the Santa at the mall?
Bad Santa.
Is it Bad Santa?
Bad Santa, yeah.
Bad Santa?
Bad
Oh,
Santa's a
yeah.
good one, too. That one's sad.
That one is
See, that's
sad.
why I like. I mean, I know
I
that
don't really
like
like Bad Santa.
I don't like. I just love Christmas so much that I don't want to watch a depressing Christmas movie.
Yeah.
but
Even though
it's
that's like
resolution at
that's
the end.
still like life, you know. I still just like I love Christmas so much. I just want it to be like happy movie where I
Yeah,
just
you
get
know,
out of my
growing
mind.
growing up, another big one that I had Sam watch for the first time last year was Prancer. I was really into Prancer.
No, actually, that was a really cute movie, and
Sam
it definitely,
Elliott.
even though it was the first time I watched it, it felt very nostalgic.
Yeah, it does. It has that feeling. It's just
It
it's
definitely
just a
does.
really
Maybe
good
it's just because it's an
movie.
older movie, but
Yeah,
it was really it felt nostalgic.
they
even though it was the
captured
first
they
time I've
captured
seen
it. They captured it.
Yeah, they definitely
No.
did.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Connor, which one's your favorite Christmas movie? You just watched Christmas Vacation. What's your favorite?
I know. I just listed off like a bunch of movies.
I know.
but-
I would say that even couples, Four Christmases. That's the one I'm talking about. Is really good too.
Yeah, that one's good. It's definitely not a kids movie though.
No. I'm saying.
No, that was pretty funny.
I think the one I watched the most frequent and was my favorite was The Grinch. Definitely
The Grinch.
Mhm.
I would say Elf as well.
Ooh,
Elf
was
is
good.
oh,
Elf
that's
was
literally my
good, too.
family's like Kiki.
Christmas Story though I'd watched a lot.
Oh, that's her
though.
favorite
that was
movie
always
ever.
on regular TV.
Really?
So
I would say Christmas Story
I
is one of
watched
my
it a
least
lot, but
favorites.
it is one of my least
I've actually
favorites.
never seen Christmas Story because I
I haven't
just
seen them in a while though.
I
so
just
that judgment might change.
yeah.
after I
Well, I
watch
just
it.
I just always thought it was annoying to me. I don't know what it was, but I was just like I just couldn't stand the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel the same way about Polar Express too. I don't know if someone was like, you're either gonna watch Christmas Story or Polar Express tonight, I'd say I wouldn't bud.
Yeah.
I think I would opt out.
Yeah.
Because neither
No,
of
it's
them- neither of them
understandable.
sound like-
I just like Polar Express because it's nostalgic to me. I'm not saying everyone
Yeah.
has to have that,
Yeah.
but there's just
Well,
something about
like-
Christmas Story. It's just annoying.
A lot of people like Christmas Story too.
A lot of people love it.
Yeah, a lot
They
of
came out with a
people
new
like
one,
Polar Express,
you know?
Yeah, but
Like they didn't come out with a new
Christmas.
Polar Express.
Yeah. Well, that's all. I guess it's all just up to your own personal opinion.
Give us some comments about what your favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear.
So
Actually, I have a question for you
Shoot.
guys, really quick.
Tell us which one's worse.
Since we were talking about the best Santa Claus, what's the best Home Alone?
4, easy.
Shut up.
That one.
You think the first one, not the one in New
I
York?
I think the
Lost
first
New
one
York.
as well.
Lost New York is good, but
The first one's good, but like something about the one in New York just like gets me
there is.
giggly.
I think I remember more about the second one than I do the first one.
I think the
but-
first one hits home too because we're not in New York setting. Then
Yeah.
like in Chicago, it kind of felt like okay, but even not a lot. But the first one takes place in Illinois. Like
The first
rural
one does
Illinois.
place
So you're
takes-
like, oh,
yeah.
Not rural.
It takes place
Suburban
in
Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah. Okay. Suburban Illinois.
Not
but-
rural at all. It was like a nice house.
Yeah.
It's a huge house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It was in a subdivision.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was just something about like a city Christmas.
Yeah, I get that, and the whole scene with the whole sequences with the woman in the park, the pigeon lady.
And dude,
is-
Frankenfurter's in it.
Yeah, Tim Curry is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The first one I think is really good, but I think Chris Columbus is really good at just capturing that like childhood nostalgic, you know, like even the Harry Potter one.
Well, he made them back then, but it's still.
Well, no, even Harry
childhood
Potter 1 and
nostalgia.
2 has that kind of like
Yeah.
like separated from the rest of them has this like really big like this is a like I feel like a child when I watch those two, and that's thanks I think to Chris Columbus. I put the Goonies on earlier, and actually Chris Columbus and Steven Spielberg wrote the Goonies, and then Richard Donner directs it.
Yeah.
But that's another one that just feels like, you know, he's really good with working with children and getting, you know, a really good nostalgic, like just a feeling from the entire thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big praise to Chris Columbus that
I just love a nostalgic.
the Home
movie. It's, like,
Alone
the best
movies
thing
feel
ever.
so like, you know, man, this is Christmas, you know.
Yeah.
So
Make sure to read my magazine, Modern Nostalgia.
Modern nostalgia.
Just kidding. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
you should read your magazine.
No, don't. Please don't add that in. Crop that out. That was
This
so
is a- this is
cringy.
a-
Please
this
do
is
not
a-
add that
This
in.
is a no edit podcast, so
Look.
sorry.
You're plugging.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, please.
All right, well, let's move on to solo missions. Sam, you're new here, so solo missions is where we just go around and just talk about anything we're listening to, reading, watching this past week. So go ahead, you start.
Polar Express.
That's it.
Um,
What kind of games you been playing on your iPad?
Township.
Township.
And which is basically like Farmville. It's just, I don't know. It's just more. I don't know. There's just like more things to do than Farmville.
Yeah.
And I've been playing Home Improvement.
And Sims.
I did play Sims for a while, but I'm not playing Sims anymore.
Yeah,
All I
same.
wanted to do was build my house and get them married, and I did that, so I don't need to do it anymore.
I've been really getting into iPad
Accomplishment.
playing again.
Because
You know,
I
I'm
told
scared they
you.
might bite me.
Yeah.
No, like I told you, the other
Stick a
day I
wiping
was
snot off your
watching.
iPad.
I was watching a video of an interview that Cynthia Erivo was doing, and they asked her what Ariana Grande's like favorite thing to do is, and she's like, she loves playing on her iPad. She loves playing that Farmville game.
So you're playing
And
it
no,
on-
listen.
That
No,
makes
hear
it
me out, hear
funnier.
me out. No, listen, hear me out on this. Because I was playing that on my phone, especially in the summer, and I was like, I love playing this game. I just really hate doing it on my phone because it's so small. But I totally forgot I had my iPad Mini. But you guys
first
were
world
using it in
problems.
here.
First world problems. I forgot I had an iPad.
No, but you guys had it in here using it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I could totally play it on my iPad. I totally forgot I had one.
Yeah.
When she said she was playing it on her iPad, I was like, I could do that. So I've been doing it, and I'm like, I love it. It's so much easier to be on a big screen and see everything
Yeah.
versus like a small screen and have to like zoom everywhere.
Yeah.
Even though it's an iPad.
Like you said,
Mini.
first world problems, seriously. But
Oh,
Well, either way, it's. I'm glad that you found something that you enjoy,
Yeah,
even
I
if
know,
it's fleeting and because of influenced by Ariana Grande.
I'm happy that you.
it really wasn't influence. It was just a reminder that I have an iPad that I could play on.
Yeah.
I'm happy you come out and hang out with us, even though we're watching something you don't want to watch. You play your iPad.
Yep.
It's fun having you around. Not in
Thanks.
your room.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Well, I don't like sitting in my room all day. It's just when I didn't know what to do, so I would sit on my phone on like TikTok and go in my bed because I was like, well, now I don't know what to do. But now when I'm on my iPad, it's just like something I'm doing, like to just get my brain moving, I guess.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, okay, I could go anywhere and do this.
Are you reading anything or listening to anything that you've been really into lately?
Music, books, podcasts.
Well, the Wicked soundtrack.
Yeah, the Wicked soundtrack. I want you guys to know that the Wicked soundtrack came out like 3 weeks ago, and I just got my Apple Music Wrapped, and I have Apple Music. I'm not part of the Spotify gang, but
We need dislikes.
I got that Apple Music 2024 Wrapped, and Wicked made it to my top 3 albums. That's how much I've been listening to it.
Yeah, I want you guys to know that Jimmy Buffett was number 8.
On yours?
Yeah. I think it's because in the summer, Connor and I would go outside, and I was like, what should we listen to? Jimmy Buffett?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know what my number one song was. It was either a Billie Eilish song, a Cigarettes After Sex song, or maybe an Ariana Grande song.
You know, my top album was The Empire Strikes Back soundtrack. I was like, ow.
That makes so much sense. I wouldn't expect anything
That's
else.
so funny. But yeah, the Wicked soundtrack is top tier.
Yeah.
I've been listening to that a lot.
Yeah. I do have a book I'm reading, but I haven't picked it up in a while.
No.
So.
Bummer.
Because I can't get super into it, and it's definitely, I've read reviews on it, and I'm on Goodreads,
Yeah.
where you can like rate books and other people rate it, and you can read the reviews. And a lot of people are saying that it's slow to get into, but it is good at the end. But it has like a 3.74 rating out of 5. But
4.29.
Yeah.
no, like it's not a bad rating, but everyone says it's slow at the beginning, and I'm just like the typical person where like if I'm not interested in it in a couple chapters, like there's one interesting thing that's going on, I just can't get super into it.
Yeah.
And so like my favorite author, every single time I read it, like literally after one chapter, I'm in. I can read the entire book in one day. You know.
I have the same problem with The Hobbit. I know everybody says it's amazing and everybody says it's good, and I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but I cannot get past the first 8 pages of The Hobbit.
Yeah, that's like Where the Crawdads Sing. I wanted to read it so I could watch the movie.
Yeah.
Took me forever to get through that book. The only interesting part of that book is the end. Like literally like the last page.
Mm-hmm. Tough. Well, I've been listening to the Wicked soundtrack a lot myself. I think my favorite song is probably The Wizard and I, followed closely by...
Dancing Through Life.
No, Dancing Through Life is 3. It probably goes The Wizard and I, and then what's the name? I don't know the name of the track where they sing. No, not that one. That's not even on the list.
The Goat.
Unfortunately, that one and the Peter Dinklage song are like not on the list.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
But The Wizard and I, and then what's the one where they're loathing, unadulterated loathing?
Yeah,
I forget the name of the track, but that's the second one, and then Defying Gravity, and then Dancing Through Life.
I think it's called.
It's
What
not
is,
called
what is this
Loathing.
feeling?
What is this feeling? What is this feeling is the second. So, and
Nice.
then those are my 4 favorites. And
I'm
then,
glad. I'm happy for you guys.
but I've been listening. I've also because of that we've been.
Josh and I just love Wicked.
We're on a big not Wicked kick right now. We're on a big musical kick right now, thanks to Wicked. And we just watched Chicago. We just watched.
Yeah, dude, that song's been stuck in my head in Chicago.
Which one?
The
Go ahead, sing it. Hum a few bars.
They reach for the gun.
Oh, they reached for the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Catherine.
They had it
I
coming.
My heart-
That song.
Yeah, she is.
No, not.
Isn't that her
And I
name?
just watched
Give
that
up
movie
the
for
gun.
first
No,
time,
what's
too.
her name?
Chicago?
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
She's in. They had it coming,
That'll
but
be
she's
on
No,
not.
that's what I meant. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I meant
I've done so much
I meant they had it coming.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
They both.
Not
oh, yes,
not
both
they reached
reach.
for the gun. I meant they had it coming.
Yeah.
That's been stuck in my head, and there's something about her in that scene. My heart flutters.
I think everybody's does.
Yeah.
It's
If
funny
yours-
you say that
yeah.
because she came into the movie late, and I had spent probably 20 minutes prior to that talking about how Catherine Zeta-Jones is a different level of hot, trying to sell like my Trevor on that and Tim and them, and then Sam comes in and she's like, "Oh my goodness, who is this woman?" And I'm like, validated.
I was like, I'm getting all hot and bothered here.
So, yeah, I've been listening to that, but because we've been on a musical kick, we just did Across the Universe, we did Chicago, we did Tick, Tick, Boom, which I've been listening to that soundtrack a lot because of that movie, and I think that one is front to back my favorite musical soundtrack. And then what other ones do we do for the musicals? What did we watch? Oh, we watched Tommy.
Grease.
We watched Grease. We watched. Well, there was another one. We're missing one more.
There was another one, I thought.
Well, we watched Wicked the first time and then came home, and then
Oh, the Wizard
I
of
spent
Oz
the
movies.
day watching Wizard of Oz, Great and Powerful, Return to Oz. So But that's really about my time has been taken up by musicals lately. So
Yeah.
Oh, we watched Burlesque.
Burlesque, that's what it was. Tough.
That was a good movie.
Oh, and then we got a minute and a half into Moulin Rouge before we turned
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah, it's too
Hey,
much,
here,
man.
Tim, you
Come back
got
and
very,
revisit
very
that.
close. That's the closest you've ever been.
I'm
I was
not.
like, we were in it.
I'm just. It's very hard for me to get in the mood to have
Oh,
an
we know,
epileptic
we know.
seizure.
There's no shortage of you telling me that. Before I try to watch it.
No, I'm okay with watching it. I just feel like, well, there's a lot of iconic songs from that movie, aren't there?
Well, they're all pop songs.
They're iconic, but not from.
From the movie.
There's a couple. There's one that was made for. It was Christina Aguilera made it for the movie, I think, and it became popular.
But other than that, it's all pop
It's all
songs.
pop songs. Yeah.
Is it?
It's a jukebox.
Well, I don't even know. Oh, we could talk about this after, but I don't even know what Moulin Rouge is even about.
Oh,
Well,
Tim
by
can
the
tell
end
you
of
all
the
about
movie,
it.
You will not. No. Still.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you because I don't know how many times you've
It's
seen it,
like-
but you can help me.
Ugh, it's. We gave you Chicago.
I don't care.
We don't need to watch.
No,
it.
because I've been wanting to watch Chicago, and
We'll
I still
watch it.
haven't.
We'll watch it.
I
We'll
still
watch
didn't
it. I'll
even
watch
watch
it.
it all the way.
Why?
Because you don't want to watch it.
No, I still want to watch Chicago all the way because right after they had it come. No, right after they reached for the gun.
Yeah.
Is when I started cooking. It was on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I couldn't
Yeah.
watch all of it.
It's a good movie.
But
I know, I
at
wanna
least we had
finish
good
it.
Food, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
And we created a new Pink Moose tradition on Thanksgiving: musicals.
I guess that's tradition.
I guess that's a tradition now. It's
Okay,
a
Pink
staple.
Moose and me.
What are you guys into recently?
Yeah, kind of go.
I finally finished One Piece.
Oh.
Finally. Well, not finished.
Oh.
I'm not caught up.
So wait, how'd you finish this?
But I finished up to the where it's dubbed.
Okay.
So now Tim and I are at the same point.
Okay. So
So
then
now
you're.
once it comes out.
So there's
next
more
year-
episodes that are subbed out.
We're like
Yeah.
25 episodes behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
38.
So now we're going to wait another year or something.
It came out pretty.
Why don't you just dub them yourself?
I wish.
I wish.
You know, I could.
Yeah. Why don't you just watch them and dub
Twinkle,
them yourself?
twinkle, little star.
I'll watch them subbed. It's just.
It takes all my focus to
yeah,
watch
you
it
have to-
sub.
you have to watch it.
So I can't do that.
Yeah.
But okay, well, we watched all of those musicals. A lot of them. Well, I watched the majority of those musicals. I don't think I watched
You didn't watch Across the Universe with us
Across
last
the
night.
Universe,
Tommy.
but I've
Besides
seen
that-
Across the Universe.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah.
Besides that,
And you
you've
didn't watch
seen all-
Tommy, which is a fever dream. too.
I don't think I've seen Tommy, so I'd have to watch that one.
We're gonna do Popeye
Mm.
and Moulin Rouge and.
So you're saying Moulin Rouge is a tough one. You're throwing Popeye
Well,
in next to
I've
it?
never seen Popeye, so I have nothing to gauge it on.
No, I think you have.
Moulin Rouge, Popeye, and then we're gonna do Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band
Ooh.
yet. So
You should watch Rent.
buckle up. We can watch Rent. I'll watch Rent too, even though I don't like.
And West
like
Side
it.
Story.
And I'll watch West Side.
And Cabaret.
And I'll watch Cabaret.
All right. Anyway, anything else?
I started Dragon Ball Z,
Oh,
so
jump back in. He said I finished the biggest now, or the second biggest. Now I'm jumping into the biggest. Time to boss stage.
it's about the same size as Naruto's. I think. No, it's not. No, it's not at all.
No, I don't
It's
know.
not
I don't know
at all.
much. I don't know much
Dragon
about
Ball's
Dragon
not.
Ball, but Dragon Ball has different incarnations of the show. Correct? Where it's like there's the original Dragon Ball, and there's Dragon Ball Z, and then
Z.
there's what?
And then there's Super.
Yeah. Do they all connect?
Yeah, it's all one big story.
Okay, so you
But
need
they're-
to watch them all, kind
Yeah.
of. Okay.
Yeah, or one show. There's kind of different.
Into different shows. Okay.
Yeah, and then they make movies in between and all that. Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
It is crazy.
I don't watch the movies. I haven't watched any of the movies. That's just. too
Connor
much
said,
extra
bah
time."
humbug, no Christmas,
It
only
really
Dragon Ball.
is. Hey, I watched all those Christmas movies with you guys too.
Yeah, you did.
I was there. I'm slowly grinding out everything that I need to watch.
Yeah, slowly. What about you, Tim?
Is everything
Well,
going
we went to the park the other day too. That's what we did the other day. Had a good time
well?
playing
We did have good
baseball.
fun playing.
Yeah, that was
Playing ball.
okay.
Baseball
Yeah.
and-
Nobody played ball with me.
I did.
Sam played and Tim played, but like, it was out of pity.
It wasn't out of pity. I wanted to
Everybody-
do something. I was just trying
Yeah,
to
what you
tend to
cry about?
have.
Everybody wanted to play
Yeah.
soccer, kick the ball, or frisbee, and
I'm really
nobody
bad at
wanted to play
soccer
catch
and
with
frisbee,
me.
so the ball was my best bet. I wasn't even good at that.
Well, it was a
so.
fun time for most of us.
I picked oranges. Like, that's literally what I did.
Yeah, that's the best thing about living in California. Being from Chicago and coming out to California is there's just orange trees everywhere. I can just go pick an orange.
I know.
Lemon trees, everywhere. We don't have that in Chicago.
Super nice.
Well,
This
no,
really is.
but
This
Super
really is the
nice.
land of milk and honey.
You're taking money.
Tongue in cheek.
You have resources, but no money.
Yep. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, we did have a good time at the park.
And that was it.
What you been doing?
That's all.
Well, you and I have been going through everything that we missed because we've been watching One Piece for the last year and a half, or I have at least.
Yeah.
So now we finished the last episode of Attack on Titan, like 2 years ago.
Attack on Titan. Yeah.
And now we're
Bleach, right? Or Jujutsu Kaisen?
We're caught up to the dub of Bleach right now, season 3. And now with Demon Slayer, we have caught up through the 3rd season, but now we get to the 4th season.
It just came out?
The 4th season came out like 4 months ago.
Yeah, we're behind on that, and we also have to watch My Hero, but we haven't.
My Hero
started that.
Academia, which
What's new with My Hero? Like, do they have a new season or something you're not
It's
caught
super
up with?
Well,
dark now. It's just like
it is. Yeah.
super
So
dark.
essentially, you know how My Hero Academia is like superheroes,
Mm-hmm.
and All Might is the Superman character, and he kind of gives this power because it's like a passed down power.
Yeah.
He passes power to this kid that didn't, because in this world, Sam, everyone gets powers. This one kid does not have powers. He's just a regular person. So he passes his big trait to him, which is like the most OP power. And through a chain of events, he ends up becoming like Batman, actually, a vigilante.
With
And
Superman's
so
power?
he goes off from being part of like the superheroes that are like
The League.
job,
Yeah.
superheroes, and he starts just taking matters into his own hand. He has a mask, a black mask, and they're all trying to catch him. Plus, then he's just killing people. So so it's in a very dark period right now.
It doesn't start off like that though at all.
No, it seems like it was pretty bright
it's
before.
not like that
and
at
they
all.
bring in America too.
It's all about hope and
They also bring in an American superhero, which
Yeah,
she's like All Might, but she's a woman.
right, which is really cool because it gives you the perspective of this is Japan, but they have Miss Stars and Stripes, who's like the
Miss
number
Stars and
one
Stripes,
American hero, and they had to bring her in, and she ends up getting ripped apart after 2 seconds.
Yeah.
makes sense.
But yeah, so that one is gonna be exciting to watch. And then I just finished Preacher, which is an AMC show that was written by Garth Bennett. It's the same team who does The Boys. It was their kind of precursors to The Boys.
Minus Seth Rogen, right?
No, Seth Rogen and Emma Goldberg.
Oh,
Actually, Seth Rogen directed the first season.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So it's the same team then.
same team. Yeah.
Okay.
It's wild. There's a lot of flaws. Definitely was a precursor.
Would you say it's as good as The Boys?
No.
No.
I think that the story, I keep thinking about it, even though it did not wrap up well at all. Actually, it was
Do you
god
know?
awful.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Do you know why it didn't wrap up, or is like did
No,
they
they
cancel?
ended it.
Did they?
Yeah, they ended it like a linear story. It made sense, but it just didn't wrap up satisfyingly, I guess.
Yeah,
It
interesting.
ended. You're like, oh, well, that's it. They did their best though, and Sam, the main character, and actually, it's about a preacher who gets kind of God's powers, and he ends up teaming up with
Hitler,
it's really funny.
Santa Claus.
It gets really crazy. And the vampire is best friends and stuff like that. But the main character of the show is
Jesus.
Sky from Mamma Mia.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, he's the main character. He's the preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I recommend it. I think it's great. If you're not going with expectations for it to be like,
I might check it out.
I think it's awesome. But I think it has flaws. You'll know the flaws, but if you accept it.
The next show I'm gonna jump into is The Outsider again.
Yeah, I need to read that book first.
But
It's a
besides
pretty
that,
easy read.
I've been kind of just around doing what everybody else has been doing that we've already talked about. That was the only thing I was kind of doing on my own.
yeah,
And then, I guess I'm reading The Wolf of Kala, which is the Dark Tower book. But those, I'm always reading. For the last 2
That's a
years.
lifetime,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've just been going through those.
and now that he's saying that he might even return to it, that's just gonna be your entire. That's gonna be the rest of your life.
That one's a tough one because I don't want them to end. So I purposely will not. I'll have to have 3 months in between every 100 pages I read. Just because I'm like, I'm getting closer and closer to the end. And I don't
Well,
want to. Then there's a lot. Of
Like I said,
catalog.
he is dropping hints that he might be coming back.
Yeah, well,
and
if he makes
doing-
it.
Yeah, if he makes it. Well, I'm sure he's got a lot of annexes and
Yeah.
stuff that they could piece together, release
I'm
something.
sure. I heard that one wraps up too, so I don't know what they would do.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Dark Tower book actually. But we'll see.
Maybe he'll just blow them all up and then start.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising. But yeah, that's all I've been doing.
Well, that's Solo Missions, and that's our podcast. So like and subscribe, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Nice.
See ya.